Well, the Denver Nuggets, fresh off of an absolutely pathetic offseason that saw them lose another key contributor to their championship team from 2 years ago, while extending walking trash can Jamal Murray to a fresh 4-year, $208 million contract extension, then went out and laid a total egg in preseason play, going 1-4, but all seemed well in their first regular season game of the year last night against the odds-on favorite to win the Western Conference this season, the Oklahoma City Thunder. At least all seemed right for the first 7 minutes of the game as the Nuggets ran out to a quick 19-10 lead to start the game, but that is when Michael Malone started going to the bench, and the Thunder would promptly close the quarter on a 21-5 run and go up 31-24 at the end of the first quarter. The 4 bench players deployed by the Denver Nuggets during the first quarter and predominantly for the night were complete and utter garbage. Russell Westbrook, -15, Julian Strother, -15, Peyton Watson, -8, and Dario Saric, -4. And that was in only a few minutes to end the first quarter. Jokic, meanwhile, at the end of the first, filling up the stat sheet as he typically does, with 8 points on 3 of 3 from the field, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. But unfortunately for Denver, this Nuggets bench is sheer ass. Speaking of which, their big free agent acquisition, Russell Westbrook, not good last night. Below not good.
Below not good. Not good at all in any of those areas, see?
And it has become apparent just from one game that he will get a lot of wide open three-point looks this year. That is not a good thing for the Nuggets though, as Russell Westbrook was out in full force last night. And Russ is to be the leader of the Nuggets' second unit, which again, ass. Unfortunately for Denver, the starters aren't particularly good either. And much like Westbrook, they aren't particularly good at shooting threes. And again, they will get several wide open looks throughout the season, thanks in large part to Nikola Jokic. If they don't make them like they weren't last night, there will be more and more incentive for other teams to increasingly send additional defensive attention Jokic's way, just like last night. He saw plenty of double teams from the Thunder, and as he typically always does, he was making the right play. He ended the night with 13 assists, which easily could have been far more than that if his teammates were making the copious amounts of good looks from 3 they were getting and missing all night. This game, for all intents and purposes, was over at the end of the third quarter, with the Nuggets down 17 at the time, and Denver at that stage of the game was shooting just 14% from 3.
What?
Yes, they were 4 of 28 from behind the arc at the end of the third quarter, and their bench at that point had only 11 points on 5 of 18 shooting.
It's a complete crap.
For the game, their 6th man, leader of the bench squad, Russell Westbrook, was a hefty -24, which was a game low. He had 6 points on 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from three-point line, and 1 of 4 from the free throw line. But he was only marginally worse than their alleged second best player and $50+ million per year man, Jamal Murray, who ended the night with just 12 points on 4 for 14 shooting and 2 of 6 from 3. Picking right up where he left off last postseason and during an absolutely dreadful Olympics performance. Meanwhile, who was supposed to be their 3rd best player, Michael Porter Jr., playing out a 5-year, $180 million contract of his own, had 15 points on 5 of 17 shooting and was 3 of 10 from the three-point line. Seriously, is there a worse and more overpaid duo on any team in the entire league? This was not difficult to see coming. This went as should have been expected. I have been calling this out since the playoffs last season and all offseason. This Nuggets team is not good. They are not viable contenders. They have no one else to create shots for either themselves or anyone else besides Jokic, and they have nowhere near enough guys who can knock down the open looks that Jokic is getting them. They ended the night 7 of 39 from 3. And needless to say, in a league that is progressively moving further and further towards prolific three-point attempts, 17% from that range when you jack 40 of them isn't going to cut it. And again, these were predominantly good looks. Now, yes, they were playing arguably the best team in the league in OKC, at worst the second best team, and they looked as advertised by yours truly and various other pundits, the easy Western Conference favorites. A thoroughly dominant night from them, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. And terrifyingly enough for the rest of the league, the Thunder, who held Denver to only 87 points and beat them by 15 in a game that wasn't even that close, didn't even have Isaiah Hartenstein or Jalen Williams last night. So yeah, sky's the limit for the team I picked to win the title this season. For the Nuggets though, there will be better days than this. There are 28 other teams in the NBA that are not the Thunder, and Denver gets to play them too. The Nuggets will ultimately somehow, someway, thanks solely to the brilliance of Jokic, win over 50 games this season. They will be seeded highly in the playoffs, and they will stand absolutely no chance of actually winning anything once they get there. And it will be completely due to the criminal negligence of the garbage front office in flushing Jokic's prime down a toilet.